let's just go back to the beginning and talk about what attracted you to this project. Yes, but let's start with you.
Partly the character that I'm playing, Thomas, was interesting, and I hadn't seen it done before. Sort of this two sides hippie, and I loved the idea of him, and then I was attracted by the fact that I could try to direct a couple of episodes. And the process, we have a very talented and very courageous writer, Maja Jesper, who opens up for the actors and for the art director and people on the team to participate in a very early phase of her writing, which means that you actually have an impact. What you say matters, and you feel thereby you make it sort of your show. And that feeling about it was, I think, more than anything else, what drew me in.
I just got this idea that of all the cast members, your character must have just been a pure joy for hair and makeup, to just go absolutely crazy and just do what they want with you.
Yeah.
Marie.
Yeah, what attracted me to the...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, is the sound okay?
Can you hear anything?
Bring it down.
It has a sound.
Yeah. Well, partly because of... Can you hear what I'm saying? Okay, thank you. Partly because of the people around it and in it, making it like these two, and Pernilla August was the director of the first 3 episodes, and then I read some scenes in the casting process, and I just got sucked into this story about this, in particular, the character Trine, what she goes throughout the scenes. I just read a few scenes, and I was just, wow, what a journey she has to go through, and I got very attracted to the project, and the as Jesper said, that it's about relations in families, and we just found ourselves in the casting process just sitting there, brain like, oh, I have an aunt that didn't get her legacy. Yeah. And we all came up with stories in the casting process, and that attracted me very much to just the subject. Yeah.
And just in development, because I've heard that there was sort of a lot of discussion about the idea of developing this story, and it took some time to sort of bring it to the screen. Was your character always front and center? Was she always going to be the person through which, in a way, the audience sort of identify? Or did that just sort of happen as
it was like that from the beginning, I think. And we just started having these meetings a little closer to the shooting, where we could say, I would like to say this instead of that, and the dialogue began later on when the cast was like set. But the story, Maja's had it all the time with the characters and the siblings. She knew what she wanted, but of course we could color it in some way. Yeah.
And Trine, I was fascinated in one interview I read with you where you said that to a degree Gro, you feel, is the villain. And yet what I found fascinating about the series is that the roles of good and bad kind of shift throughout.
Yeah. Hello?
It feels so weird.
Can you hear me?
Talking. Yeah.
I was... am I on?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was very much attracted to all the topics and the subjects about legacy and nurture versus nature and stuff like that, family things that we all can identify with. And then I was very attracted to portray characters that as you say, has both sides that are so good and bad at the same time, like human beings are, and full of mistakes. And I like to portray characters that are not on the right side of the law all the time, and and then of course I was very attracted to the fantastic, talented writer we have on the legacy, and Pernilla August that concepted it. She really did a good job, and of course the cast, we really have had a wonderful time together developing these characters.
So you and me, Marie, mentioned Pernilla. I'm just curious, obviously my first experience of her was seeing her in Bergman's Fanny and Alexander many years ago. And and I'm just curious about working with a director who's such an esteemed actor.
Yeah.
In terms of the development process, is just that bringing that knowledge of that experience forward. Is that something, because it's quite amazing to watch from the first episode of series 1 on. It feels like everyone is fixed in place, whereas I've watched other television series and it takes a long time for this to develop. And I'm just curious about when you came on board to the point you started filming, was that quite a lengthy period to allow you to sort of build up this familial group? Oh, Trine?
Well, I think it was more the way of shooting. Of course, we had some rehearsing time, but not much. We had a lot of talks about characters with the writer and also with Pernilla. But I think what she did was that she created a very sincere room. Can you say that? I mean, she made room for us to act. And she has a very good eye, and she kind of inspired everybody to just let go, kind of. And there was a very loose feeling on set, and she also we were allowed to improvise a lot before the scene starts and in the end. So she kind of created a way where we could just be. Yeah. And also the way we shoot with one camera that just follows the actors. It doesn't have to be, it's not that technical. Of course it has to be technical sometimes, but you can feel pretty free actually, and it suits this story quite well.
Yes.
Yeah, quite an, as Trine says, quite an actor's paradise, where you're allowed to do wherever you want to go. If you feel like something, you just do it. Never mind what you arranged before, and that keeps everybody very alert and makes it, I think, very joyful for the actors. And
you've obviously taken an extra role. You directed 2 episodes of Series 1. You've directed 3 episodes of Series 2. How has that it kind of worked out? We'll throw him off stage in a moment. We'll have a proper conversation about this. But how have you enjoyed the process of being a director within, sort of not just a writer-director on one film, but being part of this machine?
I mean, it's not like if you were directing a film where sort of the whole world has to be created. Directing episodes in a TV series that has been launched is something completely different. It's like this train is rolling.
Yeah.
They all know their roles. Because you've been along on the entire voyage, the entire travel with this train, you know everybody, you know the whole crew, you know who's doing what and who's good at what. you cannot really compare it to doing a film. So it's so much easier and makes room for the director to put on a silly wig and act as well, because they all know their job. They all know their characters. They won't suddenly do something completely idiotic or ask stupid questions or anything. It's very easy.
Well, I can say I think it was a privilege to work with Jesper as a director, because he's such a talented guy as an actor, but then he is also very good in helping you to be better when you act, and that's that's a beautiful thing. That's a talent to have as a director. Yeah. So it was really a pleasure to work with Jesper as a director. And of course it could be confusing when he was wearing the wig as Thomas, and he was like, well, action! And was like, you're not allowed to say that. And sometimes that could be a little confusing, but that was only because Thomas is like that. And he's not the director type, I don't know.
So I've got this image in my head now of Jesper forgetting which role is which and just being behind the camera just going, yeah,
no,
action.
No, that would never happen.
That would never happen.
But I can tell you that the wig does do something with Jesper. He's kind of, when that gets on, he's like, here's Thomas, yeah. And that's just...
That's right. From time to time I have had to ask people, look that way. And then I tell them something. Because I can see on their eyes that they have this, should I believe this? What this guy tells me? He has to be stoned.
Can I just say
yes.
that to me it was because I hadn't done a lot before of filming and doing TV and film before I did this, and to me it was perfect that Jesper took over from Pernilla. He directed episode 4 and 5, and I was just like a bit like Signe actually, just like getting to know everything. And I asked Trine, do I have to stand like this next to the camera? And I learned all the tricks. And then it was just perfect that Jesper took over, because we stayed in actor's paradise for a little longer. That was how it felt to me, that you just took my hand and said, what we're going to do. It was a very gentle way into the world of TV and film to me. So it was very inspiring.
Yes, but I want to stay with the hair and character just a little bit more. 2 questions. Firstly, could you put me in contact with the person who does the hair, because I'm thinking in the next year or so that I might,
you should
not
have
quite
one.
as wild, but something.
Will do.
Thank you. And secondly, thinking about the roles that we've seen you in internationally, whether it's your work with Lars von Trier, whether it's your role in the Bond films or Flamand Citron, you play characters, of the characters I know that you've played, they're very restrained. They're very, in a kind of way, they strike me as sort of formal. And it's a pleasure to watch you doing this. And I'm just curious, you've talked about working with Pernilla and having a great screenwriter and the person who created the whole thing. But were there extra elements you thought you could bring to Thomas to sort of make him, if not wilder, something that stands in contrast to the other characters, who themselves, in certain ways, are quite eccentric?
I'm not sure I
That was a long
understood
question.
the question. What is the question? I'm sorry.
Basically,
I lost you.
how far did you push the character from the original idea of it?
No, it didn't feel like I pushed it anywhere. I thought this was Maja Ilse, who's writing it, and I both know this guy. Or we know 20 of him. You could sort of pick and choose from all these acquaintances of yours, hers and mine. I think this is what she imagined it should be. Of course, I had an incredible liberty. I always wrote my own lines and stuff, but according to what she's put down, yeah. I just sort of improvise over it. Try not to learn the lines, but I think she was not surprised but pleased.
And before I open the floor to any questions you have, moving on to series 2 and the episode we've just seen, Mary, was the discussion in advance with Maya and the writers working with her on the second series about not necessarily the actual where the plot was going, but in terms of the character development? Were you sort of all sort of consulted in between about where you thought the character might go?
I think we are all the time along the way, just in terms of dialogue, because as Jesper said, and as I said before, I think Maya more or less knows where the lines are going and ending. But of course we can come with ideas, and I think what's great about that is the dialogue, because even if the idea that you have doesn't come through in any ways, that you've had the dialogue and you know a little bit more from every time you speak with the writers team. So of course we had some dialogue, but I think we both agreed, me and Maya, that it would be nice for Signe to hit a little back or to give some more modstand.
More punch.
More punch, yeah. That we agreed upon, and then I was just leaning back and seeing what she came up with.
Actually, on the subject of punch, the reason that Trine is far away from me is I've seen her right hook from the first series, and there's no way she's coming within arm's length. Interesting as well with Maya that you look at the idea, particularly in America, showrunners on all the big series, and the showrunners might write the first 1 or 2 episodes, but then they step back and oversee the whole thing. You look at the credits, and Maya's there all the time with another person.
She is writing it all, and I think it's quite unusual actually that a writer invites the actors in so much as she does actually, but she likes the dialogue, as you say, and she can she can control it, and that's important because she's really the boss of it all. And she knows what she wants, but at the same time she gets inspired by all of us. So,
any questions? I don't know if we have roving mics. If we don't, shout out, and then I'll repeat the question. Do you want, we've got someone front and center here. I think we do have a microphone.
we should have this part as well. Let's go ahead and get it.
Hello. Hi. Question to all three. How does, in Denmark, how was it received to have this, I suppose, like liberal, kind of hippie, open family? Was that unusual? Were the audiences excited by that? Or is that, perhaps in England we think the Danes are quite calm and quiet and serious. So how did that compare to the stereotype, shall we say?
I think, I don't think this, although this family in some detail is different from most families in Denmark, I think the sort of the unifying traits in this family, the things that they have, that all Danish families have, are so much more important. So everybody took it very much to heart, and I mean, what do you inherit from your parents, and what do you give to your kids? What could be more basic than that? And so the surprising thing is probably that it travels, I think. Not that it was a big sort of a Danish success.
Yeah, that's true.
Murray.
Yeah, I was just thinking in terms of environment. You have throughout the first season a character, Trine, that comes from a total different environment, and I think that kind of led, if anybody would have had any reaction to the loose environment at Grønnegård, I think the fact that Trine, you got to know the family through Trine's eyes and through the handball environment, and a lot of people can connect to that in Denmark too. So I think you had two great environments that clashed in a way, and I think that got everybody in Denmark sucked in some way, I think, or people told me, yeah.
Another question? Yes, we've got some down here. Actually, if you want to shout out, and I'll... Oh, no.
No.
If you want to shout, do.
But don't up there.
Hi,
Hi.
do you film on location at that house, and what's it like inside? Is it really cool?
It's a very good question. We have the house is on Funen. That's the middle island in Denmark, and it's a beautiful house. And actually, Thomas's little house is built up there in the real garden. And then the inside house, most of it is studio. And we have, that is actually quite important to mention, that we have a talented production designer on this series. And she has created this house, and trying to also create Veronica's artwork. And so she is the creator of all the visual things. And she is very important for this. This series.
It's something interesting there. You just mentioned just now about the success internationally of it being a surprise. It's interesting because I think obviously family drama is something that's universal. And thinking about the success over the last few years, this is the third Nordicana, and there have been so many different series, from Borgen to The Killing to The Bridge, coming over. And I wondered if we should stop sort of looking and saying, oh my God, this is amazing, another incredible program from Denmark or Sweden, because we don't say that about another amazing film from America. And it's actually about quality. And I think this is the thing, the number of series that have come out of Denmark and Sweden that are just of international quality. Do you feel this has raised the bar generally on television, in Denmark, for instance? In terms of lots of different series, do you think a lot of people are realizing they have to up their game?
I mean, if it hasn't been for The Killing and Borgen, I don't think that we have traveled so much with our series. So of course it takes someone to make the first steps. I mean, we are pretty overwhelmed in Denmark about all the success ourselves. I think that we have worked in many years with characters. We like to portray characters. That is the important thing, and not only the case or whatever, but we like to portray characters that are human beings. And that has been a tradition in Denmark for some years. And I mean, it's always difficult to talk about this, why is it a success in Denmark, and so I can just say that we in the legacy, we are very happy that we can travel now with our series, and I think that's because of all the other series, and also that because maybe you can say that our series is a little more art house, I don't know, but it is not crime, it is not genre, it's, and still we really had a huge audience in Denmark, and that was very surprising. They didn't think they should have such a big audience on the legacy, and I think that's also because we have a tradition now in Denmark that drama series, Sunday evening, that's really the good thing, and we all try to do our best, and it has to be on a level, and you know, they did this, so we have to shape up as well, and you know, it's a good competition in a healthy way. We inspire each other. So, yeah.
It's also quite amazing because if someone had said to me 5-6 years ago, you wouldn't only be watching a crime drama in a foreign language on British television, but a political drama and a family drama, I just wouldn't have believed anyway.
No.
But now it seems like it's just becoming a normal thing, which I think internationally is wonderful.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I love that we are not supposed to synchronize everything, and that we hear different language and we learn from each other, and we mix cultures and stuff, because that's the global world we live in now. And of course, it's a privilege for such a small country. It's really a small country. And now we have a lot of films that travel, and we have television series that travel, and actors that works abroad, and you know, directors that works abroad, and that's, we're lucky. Yeah.
We've got time for a couple more questions. Is a gentleman there?
I was astonished to hear that this was your first big role in Denmark, your first big TV.
Yeah, big. I'd done a little before.
So, I mean, obviously you auditioned and got it, but other than that, how did it happen for you?
I auditioned and got it.
Stupid question.
No, but
no, not
a question.
stupid question. No, you know, you have a casting director that it was actually kind of an exciting process with finding the 4 siblings, and the mother, and the whole family, just around the siblings, and just to getting it to go up, or what to say,
to make us like a real family.
To make the whole
Yeah.
family fit together, and Thomas and John and Veronica, who should she be, what would she be able to give down, and so it was a quite exciting casting process, and we had some meetings before, and with some different actors, and so the casting director and Pernilla and the producers and Maya had some kind of a task to go through.
Well, I think this is a great thing about being cast correctly, because I know of a number of American and British series I've seen where it's so clear that the whole thing is created as a vehicle for the main actor, who's a very well-known person, and they are completely unsuitable for that role. And what's great about seeing you in this is that you are fantastic in the central role.
Thank you.
But it works so well because everyone just seems to fit in place, and it's more about, does this suit the characters, not how can we get this big star wedged into it.
And that's actually what can you say, the dogma, or that's the credo, what can you say, for the whole process with working with the legacy. That's the story, the work, not some egos or some actors that has to. It's a very like
it's a collective.
generous, common.
It's not easy with the English sometimes. It's so. We're actually quite clever in Danish.
She's so sharp.
You're basically, as a group of actors, you're an extension of Thomas's hippie commune altogether.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I write all her lines.
That's actually almost true.
But Marie, we've seen you before in the 3rd series of Borgen. You were also in a film that got a release here, Clown. I don't know what the Danish title might be to it, which is about 2 or 3 years ago. Yes, Clown.
Yeah, it's some very small parts, like.
But
You were there.
I think I just.
waved in the background. But all three of you have switched between TV and film, and I'm curious, do you find it a challenge doing that, or is it a kind of a relief going from one to the other? And does it demand different things of you? Jesper?
I don't know, from a work perspective, it's the same, completely. I mean, camera's the same, the work's the same.
Like, it's just to think you're on a longer series, and if it's not the start and the finish.
You have to stay for long. But otherwise, I don't know. Normally, I've stayed away from television because the idea of sort of having to do the same work for 5 years or something, if it went well, doesn't appeal to me. I think and I wouldn't have been in this unless I could direct. So, yeah, in a way, I'd rather do films.
And are you tempted now to go forward into directing for film?
Yes, I am.
Will you be soon?
We don't know.
Were you going to say something just then?
Yeah, just the fact he said it. He writes my lines. He said it. No, but just
Only
that
in
it's,
English.
it's a longer time, right? It's like
Yeah.
a film. It's 6 weeks, 2 months, depending the script. And now we've been together for what, 2-3 years, almost.
Longer than many people have a relationship.
Yes, exactly. I know you better than my own. No.
Yeah, so that's the difference, and all that comes with that, to stick with the character for so long and the same people.
Well, I've actually, like Jesper, been afraid of permanent employment and being in a television show for many years and stuff, but that has been because I was afraid of not being creative and, has your free will to have a say and stuff. And that's why this has been so interesting and inspiring to do, actually, because it doesn't feel, even though we have done 2 seasons now and we are preparing a 3rd season as well, it doesn't feel like work, if you understand what I mean. It's really creative and fun. We have a lot of fun. Of course, some days are tougher than others, but I have found it very inspiring to be with this team for these years.
Any question? Okay, I've just got a few looking forward to the future. We spoke very briefly outside Trine about you've returned to work with Thomas Vinterberg on the Commune. How's that gone? Because it's a few years since Festen.
Yes, I haven't worked with him since Festen, and that's, I will not say how many years ago that is, but that's...
It's not long.
I was very young, and it was quite fun because it was together with Ulrik Thomsen as well, that played the main character in the celebration, and we were a couple now in this new film, so that was very inspiring and interesting to work together again, and as grown-ups. Yeah.
And
I don't know when it will be out. It's called The Commune,
Yeah.
and it's sold to the whole world as far as I know, but it's not finished yet. So I haven't seen it, but it was interesting to do.
I think it was really the same because you have a success of a hunt, and now in the UK, particularly Far From the Madding Crowd.
Exactly.
Thomas is...
It will be out this year or next year.
Yep.
So.
And again, a brief conversation outside, yes, but I know that if you say too much about your character in the new Bond film, you will have to kill us all.
Only.
How's it gone, being involved in Spectre?
It's been great. I love working with Sam Mendes. I like Daniel Craig very much. I like the part. Actually, I think that's what I'm allowed to say. I think it stops there. Yeah.
Without saying anything about the plot, were you surprised when you got the call to say that the character was coming back in?
Yes, I was, because when we did Quantum, Daniel killed me. I'm sorry. He did. And
We're sorry.
so I thought that was it. And then
Then you got up like a zombie.
yeah. Then they started, because from the start there was talk that this role would be in 3 films.
Yeah.
So, good. Then Spectrum Quantum came along and he killed me off and shot me here. Damn. Then they said, no. We have this wonderful thing that we want to do in the next. And then came the financial crisis, and there was no Bond film for a period of time. And I thought, yeah, nothing's going to happen. And then it finally did, and I think you will be pleased.
Are you allowed to say that?
I think it might be a very good Bond film.
We're going to stop it there.
No, you can't say that.
So I'm now convinced there's a sniper up there somewhere, and if you say too much, it's over. A final question. Oh, yes, sorry, down there.
In the Bond film, will you be wearing the Thomas wig?
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes. And no clothes, only the wig.
That's actually in the sequel, Spectre. Marie, let's end with you. And I know, again, like the Bond film, you can't talk too much about Series 2. Knowing everything that happens, how much of a surprise are we in store for?
What?
The next 9 episodes, how many surprises do we have in store?
Surprises?
I mean, in
One
Series
second.
2?
Yes, Series 2.
7 episodes.
7 episodes, sorry.
How many surprises? Lots.
Or are you all
12.
surprised by how your
13.
characters have developed in
What?
Series 2? Are you surprised by how your characters have developed in Series 2?
More by, not surprised, but I'm more surprised by the things that meets her. The actions that happen around her. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
very cryptic.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't say much, but we can say that something very exciting will happen.
It's very action-packed. That you can say. Action.
Okay.
We
we're
won't
just-
Watch
say
this
anything.
space.
We're just trying to make it.
Jesper, Marie, and Trine are going to be around over the next day and a bit, and I think you're also doing. You're back for another Q&A tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
She doesn't know this yet, but we're also going to try and entice Trine into a celebrity boxing match because of her incredible right hook at some point in the next day and a half. I'm joking. Don't
Against
worry. Daniel Craig will be turning up.
Yeah.
Can you please join me in thanking our guest today?